The Galaxy A9 2018, one of Samsung's new mid-rangers poised to take the attack to super competitive Chinese offerings. So, how does this one fare? Is it worth picking up? Is this something you should spend your hard-earned money on? Well, let's find out in today's video. But before we do, if this is your first time here or in case you just can't remember, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and welcome to our full review of the Samsung Galaxy A9 2018. Let's get started. If you do end up liking this video, please don't forget to turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon. And oh yeah, we have a few giveaways running. If you've not checked them out, here's a card. So let me start this review off by telling you about the things we really liked with this phone. First up, the build. As most of you already know, I'm quite fond of gradient backs, and Samsung has brought that to this year's A9. We have the bubblegum pink variant in our studio, and while pink might not be my favorite color of choice, I have to say that I do kinda like the color shifting effect here. In hand, the A9 feels premium, although the glass makes it pretty slippery and the back is a fingerprint magnet. That said, glass sandwich designs have kinda become the norm for premium devices in 2018, so I guess that's excusable. Talking about 2018 trends, one that Samsung did not follow is that notch. We have a 6.3-inch Full HD Plus display here. It's AMOLED, it has deep blacks and vivid colors since it is AMOLED, right? But no notch. Now, I still don't like the fact that Samsung calls it an infinity panel because it doesn't have the curved edges like the S and Note series do. Yet, credit where credit is due, Samsung does make some really good panels, and consuming media on the A9 is an immersive experience. Samsung has also retained the 3.5mm headphone jack, and there's a triple card slot here, meaning you don't have to choose between a second SIM or micro SD. There's a 3800 mAh battery on board the A9, so you can binge watch movies for a long time here if you wanted to. In the time we spent with the device, my colleague managed to get excellent battery life from it. Of course, the Type-C fast charger included with the A9 means that you can top it all off fairly quickly as well. Okay, now, while all that's great, I'm sure that's not what you're here for, right? I mean, what is that? What? You want to know what the camera is? Okay, no more build up, no more suspense. Let's talk about them quad cameras. Are they any good? Are they bad? To be honest, they are a little bit of both. For now, let's talk about the good stuff. The things we did like about the A9's rear cameras. The primary camera here is a 24 megapixel module with an f1.7 lens and a pixel size of 0.9 microns. Under bright light, it takes some good looking shots. Zoom in and you can see that it manages to capture a fair bit of detail. The dynamic range is good, and auto HDR kicks in to draw details even from the shadows when needed. Now when it comes to the 8 megapixel wide angle camera, I'm sure you know how I really like the fact that wide angle cameras open up an entirely new perspective. It's the same here with the A9. Like this shot right here, it wouldn't be possible with any regular lens, right? So having this option is something I really liked. With the A9, Samsung is all about options, from wide angle to telephoto to even portraits. With live focus on board, you get to change the amount of background blur that is present in your portrait shots. The edge detection is pretty good thanks to that 5 megapixel depth sensor. Colors are good too. It's just that the detail levels at times kind of feel lacking. On the video side, we have 4K video recording as well as super slow-mo at 720p. The detail levels are okay, but you do lose out on EIS when recording in 4K. But then, that's not really what annoys me. What does is the lack of OIS. At the 40K price bracket, these low-light pictures can be described as simply mediocre. There's a lack of detail and a fair bit of noise in them. The lack of OIS means that the shutter speed is kept really high, nearly 1/17th of a second in most cases. Under low light, the telephoto as well as the wide-angle cameras aren't worth using either. In daylight, the wide-angle lens does capture good-looking shots, but the detail levels from both that and the telephoto lens are honestly not as good as I expected them to be. Samsung had the potential to create something unique here, and as always, the camera software is pretty great, but I feel that they just went for bragging rights. And it is the world's first quad rear camera smartphone, but they haven't really focused on what's in those cameras. Well, if too many cameras spoiled the photos, then too little power kind of took away from the user experience. Now, don't take it as me hating Samsung for their UI. I like Samsung experience as much as the next guy. But that is when it is running very smoothly with a top tier CPU, say Exynos 9810 or Snapdragon 845, 835. Now, despite being priced like a flagship, almost, the A9 has to make do with the Snapdragon 660, something that we've started to see in the budget segment, the 13-14K segment. Of course, the 660 still does provide a smooth user experience. Even gaming on the A9 isn't half bad, but apps take a little bit longer to load and installations seem to drag on forever. Of course, these aren't real deal breakers for a 15,000, 14,000 rupee phone, but when you shell out this much money, 40,000 rupees almost, you'd expect your phone to move about a little faster, right? That's just fair. That's just a fair expectation. Also, the fingerprint scanner isn't the fastest or the most accurate one we've used. This used to be acceptable in the past, but in a day and age where we are seeing under-display fingerprint scanners doing better, it's questionable to see Samsung continuing with these sensors. And oh yeah, there's no water or dust resistance here either. So to sum it up, I know there are things that we've not liked, but that doesn't really make the A9 a bad device, not at all. It is in fact a very competent mid-ranger with an interesting array of cameras, but when you take that price into account, that's really where comparisons with phones like the 60, the LG G7 ThinQ, that kind of come in. Compared to either of those, the A9 really isn't in the same zip code. Samsung is simply relying on the hype of those quad cameras and marketing abilities to move units, especially in the offline market. So unless you really want a Samsung phone, in which case it is a competent offering, or say you want bragging rights of having 4 rear cameras, I really don't see any reason for buying the A9 2018, especially not when phones like the 60, the G7 Plus ThinQ, the Poco F1, the Zenfone 5Z, and even ones from say Vivo like Vivo V11 Pro or the upcoming Oppo R17 Pro exist. So that about sums up our feelings on the Galaxy A9 2018. Now I want to know what you guys think about it. If you're thinking of buying a phone in the 40K segment, what would you get? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And with that, it is time I bid you adieu. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on what you felt about this video. Subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking that bell icon so that you don't miss out on our almost daily content. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4 Retech and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.